message instead of your voicemail. Call me back when you get this message, okay? I got the tea and it's piping. But until you call me back, I will be calling my other homegirls. Hey, yo, whoa! Let's get into the tea.
I love that every single time. Hey, homegirl, homeboy, and homies. Welcome back to another episode of Homegirl Hangout with me, your host, and the big homie, Herbie, Herbie Revolis. Hello, girly pops. I would like to make sure that the sound is doing what the sound should be doing, that everybody is feeling okay. So I'm going to begin by just testing a couple things out. Hello, girly. I'm seeing some people trinkle in, trinkle in. Okay, good. So I guess I should ask first and foremost, how are you? No, seriously, how are you? You know, there's so much going on in the world. I'm always trying to figure out, how am I feeling? I'm always tapping in with myself. And to be honest with you, I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling really good. There's a lot of trending topics this week that I'm excited to get into with you all. I feel really good about, I think when we last spoke, I was talking to you guys about trying to map out the plan for the structure of this show. And, you know, I've got an idea about that now. So I am excited to announce that tonight. I'm just in really good spirits. I'm seeing love from South Africa. Come on, South Africa! Too low! or give me some South African slang that I can scream out loud for the ancestors. Amen. Now, let's just jump right into the trending topics. As you can see, there is a lot on the agenda today. First things first, I'm the realist. Love Island USA Season 7, the reunion was this past Monday. And if I had to put all of my feelings in one word, I think I would just categorize it as trash. I'm talking basura, I'm talking waste management, garbage barge, Miss Thing. The winners of the season don't even like each other for real, and that's really unfortunate. But I kind of called it, and we'll talk more about that later. Huda ran from everything, including accountability. But I think the worst moment for Huda throughout this entire reunion really is a vestige of kind of her worst moments throughout the season, and that's her inability to acknowledge engagements with racism, right? Excuse me. I'm about to cry. No, but seriously, it's her inability to engage with, racism, or, it's specifically her fans who are lobbing racist comments at the Black women on the show, and her just being too busy to get around to that. And finally, production, go ahead and count your days. Go ahead and count your days, because these tricks, these slimy, slick tricks you've been pulling, that you pulled in the kitchen, we should have you up. But we let you walk away, and we let you go get yourself together. But bitch, I'm gonna let you know, if you ever pull that shit on me again, that will be your last motherfucking day standing and my motherfucking last day streaming. Correct, Miss Black Healer. They broke up already. Honestly, it was doomed from the beginning. But again, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Next on the agenda is, oh my God. Oh wait, no, this is not supposed to be right here. We'll get to y'all a little bit later. It is Jussie Smollett. Oh my God. Jussie Smollett. So I don't know if you guys know, but Jussie was recently featured in a documentary entitled The Truth About Jussie Smollett. And it is regarding his alleged hoax involving a white, black, biracial, we don't know, involving perpetrators of an alleged hate crime. And the hate crime was allegedly on the basis of racial grounds and, on the grounds of hate for a specific sexual orientation, homophobia, right? And so I kind of felt like we had all moved on from this. This happened in 2019. It's been 6 years. I mean, come on. However, this is the first time Jussie has actually participated in a long form discourse and in an investigative context around the details of what happened that night. And so I gave it a watch. I watched the hour and a half or hour and 45 minutes, I believe it was, somewhere around that. And I think a lot of people walked away asking the question, was the evidence produced that may or may not be arguably in favor of Jussie Smollett enough to exonerate him in the court of public opinion. More on that later. And speaking of exonerating the homos in the court of public opinion, oh my God, I'm going to tell you something. This actually emotionally wrecked me. I had a visceral emotional reaction to Lil Nas X being arrested. Currently, Lil Nas X was arrested and he's now let go, but he was arrested later last week and for walking around the streets of LA in what appeared to be a diaper and white cowboy boots. And I genuinely, hold on. I genuinely did have a deep emotional reaction to this. He is facing up to 5 years in prison and 3 felony counts. One, I believe, is for assaulting a police. I don't really remember what the felony counts were for. But what I will say is I didn't appreciate how the public responded to him. You know, we can key about it because we're always going to key. But seriously, genuinely, I lifted him up in prayers. Now, I'm a heathen, so my prayers don't go no higher than the ceiling or the second floor, depending on how your house is structured. But you girls, I'm sure, are much better people than me. So lift him up in prayer, amen. Because it's yes, he's facing 5 years. Let's move on to the next trending topic. Oh my God, Cardi B. Speaking of folks in court, Cardi B is in clown court. What is happening? What is happening right now? No. But seriously, Cardi B is currently in court for an alleged assault that she was involved in with a security guard outside of her OBGYN's office. It's a whole ordeal. But honestly, it's giving a key. It's giving a key because I can't take any of this seriously. Again, more on this to cap. Now, hot Snoop diggity dog. Snoop Dogg is making headlines for the first time ever. No, I'm just kidding. For the first time since performing for that MAGA Republican, dehumanizing president, twice impeached, disgraced president, the head Cheeto in office. Those are the last headlines that I believe that Snoop made when he performed at the inauguration for President Donald Trump. And so now he's making headlines again, asking how he is to navigate conversations about same-sex parents, about queer families with his young grandchildren. I believe they were around 6-7 years old. And you know what? I actually would like to engage this in good faith. I think a lot of people ask this question, both in good and bad faith. And so I want to expound on that a little bit more. Of course, as always, if you're on the Patreon, you know what to do. I think this is more of a conversational piece for people who are parents, or if you are queer. I'd love to call you girls up and bring you girls on for today's show so that we can get your thoughts around Snoop Dogg, hot diggity dog. And what a lot of people are saying is homophobia. Now, let's move on to white women's news. Oh, my God. Taylor, I'm going to let you finish. But no, I'm just kidding. No, Taylor Swift is engaged. This is ridiculous because let me tell you something. I'm not a Taylor Swift stan. I'm like a passive Taylor Swift fan. She makes bops. I cannot deny it. But if you are someone releasing an album, a photo shoot, if you are going to the signing of an envelope, the opening of an envelope, whatever you're doing, cancel it, postpone it. Because this lady right here owns the internet right now. It doesn't matter who you are, what you're doing. This lady right here is going to own the internet, and she's dropping an album. I'm sorry. She owns the trademarks to www. So that makes me increasingly scared for her daughter. Her daughter, Sabrina Carpenter, who just dropped her album today. And I have some thoughts around that. We'll chit chat about that. I've yet to watch the Tears video because I do want to react to that. And I like to be honest about my reactions. Like, I don't need to watch it. There's a lot of things going on in news, and I was prepping for this show, so I haven't gotten around to it. But I am looking forward to watching that and reacting to that for Patreon, and probably doing a full album review for you all. So yes, I'm really excited. Those are the topics that and more will be discussed on today's show. But here's where we have to go ahead and start getting into the things. I want to say this. I want to run right into my announcement because it's come to my attention what you girls have been saying behind my back. Oh no, yes. Oh yes. I've been hearing that Choop just have been talking behind my back. So I prepared a statement. I have prepared a statement and I'm ready to make my announcement. Let's go ahead and get into it. So it's come to my attention that both the folks, both my homies over on Patreon, homies, homegirls, and homettes over on Patreon, and my YouTube fam feel like cutting the show in half directly in the middle of the show to transition over to the after show to discuss the remaining trending topics that I wasn't able to get into because this show has been for the past few weeks an hour to an hour and a half long show. And oftentimes, because I am long-winded and I like to be detail-oriented, the show runs like 2.5, 3 hours. And so I have to cut the show in half to do the after show on Patreon so that I can give everybody everything. It's come to my attention that that is not working for you all. It's not working for the girls over on Patreon. It's not working for you guys. And I'll be honest with you, it's not working for me. This show is intended to be a weekly pop culture recap show where we talk trending topics, we talk life, pop culture, sometimes politics, dating, niggas, all of the things, anything that I find kiki worthy, but primarily pop culture recap, right? And pop culture analysis. And so we haven't been able to do that in this current iteration, this current structure of the show. So I'll say that I hear you, I feel you. And so today's show, we're not going to stop. Work, don't stop. Work, don't stop. We're just going to run through all of the topics, no cutting, no editing, all of the things unfiltered. If it gets spicy, it just gets spicy. However, I do understand myself as a content creator, performer, and, a girl who's actually degreed in this space, right? I am a journalist, right? And a sit-down comedian. And so oftentimes that means my show operates at the dichotomy of researched reads, researched reporting, and the messiness that is intrinsic and endemic in comedy, right? Sometimes I'm saying things that are spicy. And so therefore, I need a space, a medium that allows me to vacillate back and forth between that earnest reporting and the ridiculousness and shadiness of my comedic style. And so with that being said, moving forward, I will be recording these Homegirl Hangout episodes every Friday evening for you, for your enjoyment pleasure over on Patreon live. Okay. That way, if I say something that I feel like is too spicy, is messy, or unpolished, I have all of Saturday to go ahead and edit it out and then post the censored, edited, condensed version on YouTube every single Sunday afternoon. So this way I can prioritize my Patreon fam who are investing in me monetarily and also creatively. These bitches pour into my life. You girls just don't know. You girls, you wouldn't know if you're not over there. They pour into me. I pour into them. It's a whole different vibe and gig. Okay. And I can make sure that you all are getting a structured, formulated show that doesn't feel cheap. To me, that was my big issue. Like, I don't want it to feel like, okay, gotta go, gotta blast, Jimmy Neutron. And it's not really being catering to what everybody deserves. Everybody deserves a good experience. Some girls will be getting a quality premium experience. But, everybody does deserve a great experience. Now, yeah, I think that's how the show is going to go. If you all enjoy that, you know what you do. In the description down below, there is a link to join the Patreon. You might want to run, don't walk, over to the Patreon. And if you can't support in that way, I'll always understand that that's perfectly fine, right? Liking the lives. Hello. Liking the video when you're watching it in the future, commenting, pushes it out to more people. That helps me out a lot. And I respect that. I honor that. I'm humbled by that. And I mean it when I say it. But if you could, my videos get political, they get racial, we talk about race, sex, all the things, and we're not afraid to get into it. But that comes at a cost. And so that's kind of the way that I want to operate this moving forward. I think that's the most fair for everybody involved. And yeah, I knew I couldn't say that without giving you girls my all. I give my all on my exit out as we enter in this new era of Homegirl Hangout with me, Herbie. Correct. Correct. Run me that all. Run me that. My dear girl, run me that. I need you to. It sounds like a fire starting. Can you hear that? My dear girl, run me that. Ole, please. All right, let's move on. We've got to get to Love Island. Miss Thing, when I tell you, you girls are going to be windmilling, I think that so much and yet so little was said at this reunion, was addressed at this reunion. I was windmilling, and as you guys, if you're on the Patreon, you know that I went and watched this with my best friend. I went to his house, and we were kikiing, eating soul food, watching, and it took the whole armor of Christ to hold me back on a couple of these people on this cast, including but not limited to the interviewers. So I think we should start with the structure of the show, and then we'll get into the specific topics. For me, I kept asking myself the whole night through, Ariana, what are you doing here? Ariana, what are you doing here? Now, I know that Ariana was the host of this season, right? And we saw her all throughout the season. She was the host of season 6 as well. So she has a place. This is not me underestimating her value or depreciating what an asset she is to the show. However, Andy Mesita Cohen, that Butch Queen has got it covered. That Butch Queen has been interviewing the messiest, most problematic, gag-worthy women for nearly 20 years and their husbands. He has been able to extract the most compelling, shady, what's the word I'm looking for? Volatile information out of the most intimate dynamics. I'm talking marital troubles, divorce rumors, cheating rumors, Candy, aka Bill Cosby, allegedly drugging and raping Portia. Girl, and it's not funny because it didn't happen. So, we're not laughing at the allegations. We're laughing at the fact that it was a lot of conflict and drama. And so Andy Cohen had it covered. Check the resume. Right? I don't know Ariana beyond Love Island, but what I do know is Andy Cohen. He's the host of a night show, Watch What Happens Live, where he interviews people all the time and extracts all kinds of information. He's the host of reunions with all different kinds of women from all different backgrounds and all of their husbands from all different backgrounds. And he's able to poke and prod in a way where he extracts the information that the audience wants to hear. And another thing about the way that the stark difference between Real Housewives reunions and Love Island reunions is we don't feel that it is chopped and screwed Texas style. I'm like, bitch, is this Dallas? This ain't Texas. I'm gonna need you to hold it. Why is this reunion chopped and screwed up like this? Why is everybody, or why are several members of the cast coming out and saying, oh, Nick was defending NicOlandria, they cut that out. Oh, such and such did happen, they cut that out. Oh, JD, you like being dominant, came back and spoke, but we didn't hear him because they cut that out, which, shout out to whoever cut out JD, you like being dominant. But that for the viewer, it was clear, it was apparent that one, there was an agenda. That some people are supposed to come out looking relatively unscathed, while giving us just a drop of the drama, but not even so much the drama, the accountability. The drama is endemic in the show. It's a bunch of hot people sleeping with each other or being intimate with one another, kissing each other, and emotions are high, tensions are high. They don't have access to the outside world. Drama is going to happen. So we don't have to ask for drama. Various different races and lifestyles and parts of the U.S. The U.S. is huge. So there's various different cultures represented, right? Excuse me. We don't have to ask for drama. Drama will find us. But what we needed was critical analysis. What we needed was someone who was going to hold these motherfucking bitches' feet to the fire. And in a way, I don't think Ariana was a total issue. I think it was largely the producers of this reunion and the agreement they had with certain folks on the cast, but Ariana was a little bit in the way, but more so, that's not my larger point. My larger point is I have an issue with how this reunion was conducted by the folks who produced and edited it. We have an issue. Certain footage that was shown, I'm like, why do we need to see the footage of them deliberating how they kicked Charlie off? Love Charlie. He's fine as shit. And y'all know I don't normally say that about the unmelanated men. However, I don't care how he got off the show. I want to see the unhinged clips that everybody was talking about. Okay? Involving Huda. Control it. Control it. Control it. Involving Huda and other cast members. All right. Like specifically with Andy Cohen, you can see the difference between he and Ariana and how he's able to just push when Huda's like, when they asked her about a very public relationship that she's in with another, I think he was on Too Hot to Handle, the man that she is allegedly in a relationship with, that she was on red carpets with. She was asked about that at the reunion. And Andy Cohen's like, so let's talk about like where you are from a relationship status. And she's like, I can't talk about it. It's Netflix. It's legal. It's legal. It's legal matters. Like, no, I wish I could. And Andy is like, Netflix? Tell Netflix this was the #1 stream show of the summer. Across all of television, might I add. HBO couldn't compete. Stars couldn't compete. Prime Video couldn't compete. Netflix couldn't compete. It was Love Island. Okay? Okay? We were glued to the seats. And so I appreciated the way that he handled that. What I will say as a disclaimer, and it's something that really does require my emotional attention and my emotional presence, right? I need to be present in this moment, is The Real Housewives doesn't have the same history of folks, not to my knowledge, of folks unaliving themselves, committing S-side, as a result of the pressure of being on Love Island, or the pressure from the fan base, or the hate they receive from the Love Island fan base, right? And so you have to navigate these interviews in a way where that is a consideration, where this environment, this context is in many ways kind of dangerous, right? With respect to people's mental health. And so on that front, I can kind of understand how they left so much meat on the bone in that way, okay, in that way. Now, let's get into the topics that were mentioned. We're going to start with the light shit, and then we're going to heat this motherfucker up. Okay, it's going from trending topics to hot topics, Miss Thing. So let's start with Charlie. I said this to you all, and y'all can fight me about it. Y'all know I normally don't like the vanilla swirl. I like my men melanated, brown. You know, I like them beige, fluorescent beige. You know, dark brown, dark skin, bitch, you're black. That's how I like them. However, when Charlie began to speak, when the spirit of the UK ran through his mouth, right? He's handsome, like just, you know, looking at him, you know, without quantifying him in any way, or qualifying him in any way. But once he opened his mouth in that accent, if you know me, the most attractive accent to me on earth is a Caribbean accent. It doesn't matter where you're from in the Caribbean. Ay, Dios mío. There are tears running down my thighs when a man walks up to me with a Caribbean accent. Okay? Now, when hold on. Now I do also appreciate a UK/British accent as well. That does it for me as well. And something about Charlie's accent did it for me. That's the only reason why I wanted to bring Charlie up. He did also say that he was disgusted by Hannah basically coupling up with or becoming very intimate with Pepe just 24 to 48 hours after he left the villa. Girl, you were so deep in like, that you had to hop on another man's lap to get over it. Ooh. Now I can't throw too much shade to my girl Hannah. Oh my God, this is empty. I keep my shea butter in these amber tubes. This is the one that has that secret sauce. That secret sauce. So, you know, I can't be too mad at Hannah because the best way to get over one is to get under a new one, amen. And that's in the book of Deuteronomy. Okay, that's Dude, Aramedy. So shout out to Charlie for getting her together, and shout out to Hannah for moving on. Okay, so we also found out that Austin was unfaithful as soon as he left the villa with Jaden. And to be honest, I wasn't surprised. Austin is 26 or was 26 at the time of recording. And he has, according to him on the show, 104 bodies. Sorry, what'd you say? 104 bodies. Now, I always will say this, and I mean this truly. Your body, your choice. You can use that thing however you like. But what I want everybody here to know, hold my hand, because this might be tough for you to hear. You got it? You got a good grip, baby? Okay. And it's a soft hit. I know everybody says that. It's the shame of the girl. So when a man tells you he has a body count, when a man tells you that he has a body count and it's in the 3 digits, he made that number up. Yeah. He made that number up, baby. He lost count. And I'm talking a long time ago. He lost count. So maybe around the 30 mark. That nigga lost. He don't remember the names. Probably doesn't remember the faces. Are you the lady that sucked me dry? No. I work at the local ramen shop. You and I have met a couple of times because you come in to get the Taiwan food, but we've never gone intimate. You look like the lady who sucked me dry, right? And why is that? Because you lost count. You lost count. Don't believe these niggas. I'm telling you what I know. My freshman year in college, I dated this man. He was Arab. And he told me his body count was 101. And I remember because I was like, 100 and what? Dalmatians or bodies? That was the first thought that I had in my mind. And then later on, we had a conversation. And I'm like, girl, you made that up. It has come to my attention. You made that shit up. You've been lost count, and that's fine. That's fine, baby. Just say, I don't know. Just say, I don't feel like talking about that. Just say it's none of your business. Anything is an acceptable answer. When a man tells you his body count is in the 3-digit mark, that nigga been lost count 50 bodies ago. Don't believe him. Now, with that being said, according to Planned Parenthood, the average person loses their virginity at 17. So if we can assume that he lost his virginity at 17 and he got on the show at 26 and said his body was 104, his body's 104, that's approximately 11 to 12 people a year from 17 to 26. That means pretty much every month it was a new body. No breaks. It's you, next chick, another club, next place, no sleep, another club, another club, another club. Girl, that's what it was giving. That's what it was giving. And so with that being said, I don't mind that, right? For me, I'll always say this. The only thing that is important to me is me knowing your status. Okay. Well, not at the bank. I don't care about that. I get my own money, right? And I'm self-sufficient. My mom always told me I'm a can-do kid. I can do anything I put my mind to. So I don't care about your status at the bank. I care about your status at the clinic. Hello. I care about your status at the clinic. And so as long as all that shows up in a way that I feel is appropriate, we're good. I don't care about your body count. Now, what I will say is if you are going to volunteer that your body count is 104, then my brain will begin to do the analysis and say the data shows that your turnover rate is too high. Your turnover rate is too high for me to take you seriously romantically, because clearly if you have to get a new body every month since you were in a junior in high school, you have commitment issues. And so with that being said, just doing the data analysis, it's not going to work for me. Just doing the data analysis is not going to work for me. I'm just running the numbers, babe. And so we can engage in a wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. But what we can't do is even pretend like you're going to be the nigga for me. Keep it to yourself. I don't want to know. You just made that number up anyway. Okay. Now let's move on. Now let's move on. Oh, Amaya and Brian, eat that kitty, eat that kitty, eat that kitty in the hideaway. Girl, he never liked that lady. This man never liked that lady. That's some good. Oh, what am I drinking? I'm drinking, actually, I never really show you what I'm drinking because these girls are not sponsoring the doll, but I'm drinking Love is Wine from the Love is Blind series. Can you see? It's a Chardonnay, and I'm not typically a Chardonnay girl, But I felt like it was in the spirit of love and dating shows. So I felt, why not pour that spirit into me so I can pour that into you? And so that's what I'm drinking tonight. And if you're not a Chardonnay girl, this is a good Chardonnay. It's no tea, no shade. Because Chardonnays can be very dry. And so this one has a little bit of sweetness to it. Shout out to Love is Wine. Shout out to Cupcake, the winemaker. She's good. Oh my God, is it actually good? So if you like your wine, I'm trying to move out of my dessert wine era. Like, I don't want my wine super sweet because that comes with, like, I don't know. I feel like I get a headache or like my teeth hurt or something when I drink sweet wine. So I like my wine not to be bitter, dry, yuck, but I like wine that's somewhere in the middle. It leans sweet for a Chardonnay. So, and it's smooth. So if you are typically not a Chardonnay girl and you want to try it out, I actually would recommend this No Tea No Shade. Oh, you said I made it. I thought you meant the wine, girl. You made it live. Okay, hey girl. Now let's move on to Amaya and Brian. So Brian was questioned at the reunion about his alleged infidelity or inappropriate actions with Amaya during, the less than a month that they've had outside of the villa. And so the girls were already, I seen TikToks of him at the club, pouring shots in women's mouths, sitting at the counter, conversing, holding court with several different women, which isn't a huge deal, but it does look crazy for reasons that we're going to get into. So I'd like to play the clip of what Brian said when they held his feet to the fire, and we'll talk some more. Wait a minute. Can y'all hear it? No, I can't. The spirit of mute is on this right now. Let me do this. Boom. Why is it muted? Okay, hold on. Let me do this right here like that. What do you mean it's mute? Hold on, Andy. Why isn't it playing? Wait, let me know if y'all can hear it, because it looks like y'all can't. And that's a first, because I literally played all these clips before I got here to make sure that it would do what it needed to do. And for it not to be playing, I got something for your ass. Oh my God, why is it not playing? Hold on. Let me see if it could play. Let me try it again. Oh, let me try a different clip. Oh, okay. Oh, so it just doesn't, this one didn't have any sound. Okay, that's fine. I'll narrate it. Even more kind. I'ma narrate it, Miss Thing. Y'all know I'm a creative at heart. I'm gonna go ahead and narrate this. That's what the Spirit of the Lord put on my heart. He said, girl, when in doubt, make the woman in doubt disappear. Make the woman in doubt disappear. Girl, it's definitely a scheme that Todd set up. All right, let's let it play. So right now, Andy Cohen is, hold on. Right now, Andy Cohen is asking him about his alleged infidelity. And Amaya, bitch, you better laugh out of actual frustration and concern. Her laughing right here. Girl, who you fooling? He's basically, Andy Cohen is like, so like, what about, there are allegations of you being an infidel, or not an infidel, but, cheating on Amaya. What do you have to say about that? And Amaya's like, oh my God, can you imagine me being cheated on? It's hilarious. We can. Sister, we can. Beyonce was cheated on. We can certainly imagine that a man that met you 5 weeks ago would cheat on you. A man that I don't ever believe actually really was romantically interested in you. Sexually interested in you? Yes. Stood up for you at one point in the show? Certainly. But romantically wanting to be, the love of his life, the woman that he takes into his grave? Clearly not. So this, can you even imagine? Can you even? Yes, we can. Yes, sister. So he goes on to basically say he had a lapse in judgment. Forgive me. It's above me now. I'm doing better. And Amaya is basically like, do you think I would stay with someone who doesn't respect me? Do you think I would stay with someone who I feel like doesn't deserve me? No, I'm a girl who's going to stand on business is essentially what she was saying. And so that was cute. Like I said, the clips that we saw were just clips of Brian in clubs, pouring shots in women's mouths, sitting at the bar, holding court with them. Nothing that felt like hard evidence of cheating, but certainly something that felt like if you went on a love, Love, that means something. Okay. The girls even go as far as to say God is love. So we have to understand that the word love means something. It's not, it was never Love Island, right? It was maybe Loveless Island, Lust Island, Sex Island, but it definitely wasn't Love Island. However, words mean things. And so we should go ahead and say that is the island that they were on. So somebody please, can you imagine? Oh my God, stop. I'm cracking up. So if you go on this show in a context that's very different from what normal people get, normal people don't have access to the hottest people in America. Even if you're on dating apps and you have your dating app range set to like 50 miles, you're not reaching out to the hottest people in America. You're reaching out to perhaps the most regular looking or probably hot people in your area. And so this is the context where you can really find love in a way that the rest of us can't. So there's an expectation that we have when you find America's favorite, Amaya Papaya, that you're doing club appearances together, right? And so they gave us a foo-foo-lan ass response to all the things that happened. Wait a minute. Oh. They gave us a foo-foo-lan ass response to everything that happened, but Amaya was in TikTok comments saying some things that I found particularly interesting. And so I'm going to play what is allegedly Amaya's comments on Instagram on TikTok after they broke up.
So Amaya is in TikTok comments letting users know why her and Brian broke up. I missed this yesterday, but a few of my followers sent me this. She had commented under this user's TikTok video. This user had made a TikTok video basically saying that she saw Brian at a club in a girl's face. She even DM'd Amaya. And Amaya commented this underneath her video. Imagine being broken up with just to come on TikTok a couple of hours later, already in distraught, to see that he's in Miami 2 hours later doing the exact things you told him hurt your feelings. And I did see this comment under the girl's video with my own eyes. So it is a legit comment. This comment: after meeting his mom, after telling him I was in love with him, after being intimate, I wish him the best truly, and the only reason why I'm speaking out is because I'm tired of holding my tongue. I'm hurt. I don't want any hate towards him. However, because mental health is real and I don't condone any hate and do.
Right. Mental health is real. Let's keep my sister in prayer. All of the things that I mean it when I say it. Here's what I'll say. I do think it's a bit... Amaya, here's the thing. There was a lot of conversation about love bombing in the show. And Amaya, to me, is a very sweet girl. Very genuine, I think, or was very genuine throughout the show. But she's pretty inclined to affection in a way that I don't find to be commensurate with the way that people navigate dating today. Okay? It feels a bit, I don't want to say abnormal, but it's a deviation from what I perceive to be the social norms of dating someone, courting someone, right? You've known him for a month and a half. When did you say I love you? A month and a half is me being gracious. When did you say I love you? I love you in a romantic context is a lot, sister. Did he say it back? You said after telling him I love him, meeting his family, did he say it back? In the grand scheme of things, this is very simple. It's simple enough why they broke up, right? Like, you went on a dating show to find love. And instead of doing club appearances just a few weeks after being on the dating show together, instead of building that brand and that relationship, focusing in on that, you're doing solo appearances in the club, pouring shots in women's mouths. It's not, to me, if I were dating him, I wouldn't feel a real way, but I haven't been on a dating show that got billions of watch minutes a week. And so I don't know how I would respond, right? It's like, don't have me looking crazy is always my MO. So I can respect her being like, this is disrespectful. But the I love you was a bit, yes, baby Renaissance. It's just a little unrealistic to be the I love you. It's also such a strong emotion to thrust at someone who you've known for such a short time. Not to say that people don't fall in love, but it's like a decent amount of your relationship was highly televised. How do you even develop the intimacy required to say I love you? I don't know. Like, especially if he didn't say it back. It's just, this brings me to the fact that I feel like he never really liked her. Like, I feel like Brian, let me put them back on the screen. I feel like Brian, everybody brings up the night before she became or was announced as America's favorite. She was announced as, you know, most trustworthy and most genuine by America. The night before that, they had their Standing on Business challenge where so many people were coming at her. Ace, Austin, a couple of different people were like, you know, Zach, a couple of different people were coming at her. And essentially, you know, Brian jumped in because he's probably a nice guy and said, like, listen, this is just who she is. You guys have to meet her halfway. It also gave my people, right? She's Latin, he's Latin. And so he could see some, this idea of fictive kinship, this idea of connectedness between her saying mi amor, mi vida. That's just a part of culture, right? And so I appreciate that he stood up for her, but I would have stood up for her. And I'm not sexually attracted to women. I would have been like, hey, like, this is not right. Like, this is, I get everybody has their boundaries, but just say that it's too much now. It's a lot. Let's just calm down. So him just standing up for her is not enough to say, like, he's always loved her. No, he didn't start pressing on her until after his connect. Because who he pursued initially, Andreina. That's who he was on, Andreina. And when he found out, when they both found out, like, there's no spark here. We don't really like each other. You just thought I was fun, and I thought you was cool. She probably thought you was fun as well. And they pursued that, but it was nothing really there. So, you know, they got to go their separate ways. And then America announces Amaya Papaya as their number one. We see not just Brian, but Zach and Ace all coming around to make amends with America's top-notch bitch. That means something. And so I never really felt like he really liked her. Now let's move on to the hot topic of the night. Oh, they both gave their exiting messages. It is what it is. Let's move on. This. Yes. Now, this is what I came for. Baby, this is what you came for. I was telling my friend as we were watching this live on Monday night, I'm like, girl, this reunion is boring. It's a snooze fest. Even with the Amaya Papaya shit, it's like, okay, girl, next case. It took my sisters, the queens, the Nubian goddesses, Godiva goddesses, you know, my sisters in Christ, the nasty negresses of the night, to go ahead and wake this motherfucker up because they were asleep. So it was really Olandria. Olandria was the head of the pack, so everybody was, you know, facing her back. And she initially called out Coco for being weird and pushing a narrative that the man that she was coupled up with never really liked her. I didn't appreciate that. So we're going to play that clip. I have sped it up just a bit. Instead of it being on 1x, it's on about 1.25x so that we can get through this a little bit more, you know, swiftly. Oh, excuse me. That was a baby belch. You guys know I have a little bit of acid reflux. Let me go ahead and play this.
Recently, you felt that some of the girls gave standoffish vibes.
I just thought that was corny of her. You don't know that lady. You don't know Olandria for real. You saw her in a context where all of you ladies came in together. I don't know if you rode the bus in, you got on the same canoe, and each of you were, what's that called? Rowing in order to get on the island. We don't know the context in which all of you ladies came in together, but what we do know is that all of you ladies came in as a united front. And so that creates a kind of kinship, sisterhood. Olandria was tossed over into an island where she doesn't know anyone. And so is standoffish the right word? If I was Olandria, I wouldn't even have conceded to that point. No, I'm not standoffish. This is a normal response to being in a social environment where you know no one. You don't give, hey, y'all. Like, I don't know anybody. I don't know anybody here. And so I'm just going to move around and talk to the people who talk to me, initiate conversations when it makes sense, and try to be pleasant. That's all you can ask of a person who is literally a stranger to you. So for Coco to feed a narrative as a fellow chocolate girl, I just felt like that was a little weird on her front. I'm not going to drag Coco, but I just felt like that was a bit weird on her part. Don't see no shade. Her kiss in that picture was crazy. Olandria. No, Ola, we got to talk about this. We got to talk about this, Ola, because why would you kiss that picture of Taylor like that? My man. Now, I do feel like Alandria was been thinking about that brand deal. Like when she was kissing Nick and was like, oh my God, my lip combo is all over you, kissing a picture of Taylor. Alandria is a business-minded girl. I don't think that it's all just happenstance because she's a chocolate girl. So I've kissed white and light complected men sometimes with a mug on, and my mug is on their face. It's not necessarily a lip combo. It's like sometimes your nose brushes his nose, and or if you're getting real wild, you know, your nose is brushing his cheek. Your cheek is. It's hold on. That was not. Some of it is lip combo. Others of it is like contour, foundation, highlight. Right on a pale person as a chocolate girl is always gonna read brown. So, but for her every time to be like my lip combo, I'm like, that's a business-minded bitch, and I live. But let's move on.
That you were liking stuff.
Yeah, slow down. It's not yeah. First of all, shout out to Shelly for jumping in for her sister. That's what I live for. No bad. What does the Bible say? Where two or more are gathered in my name. Hey, y'all know I will shout. You know I have a propensity to break out into a shout. The Bible says where two or more are gathered in my name, there I shall be right in the midst. And so when Shelly and Alandria, every time Alandria set it off, every time Alandria set it off, Shelly touched and agreed and said, sister, we're going in together. Yeah, because Coco, why would you be liking comments that were weird? Why would you be liking comments that said that they need to get rid of the only two dark-skinned black women on the show as another dark-skinned girl? Why would you be saying that Coco should have been here? Coco, you should not have been there. Everybody is so fucking confused about what this show is. Oh, excuse me, I'm so sorry. It is beginning to piss me off. This is or not like actually like, I'm angry, but more so like, can we tap into reality? This is what I keep wanting to say all season. Can we tap into reality? This is Love Island, not Bad Bitch Island, not Best Friends Island, not America's Next Top Model. You being a stunning lady is not enough to keep you on the show. Somebody has to be interested in, or fake fall in love with you in order for you to stay on the show. The people who are your fans or who enjoy you or enjoy your mug or enjoy your time or enjoy your comedic banter, whatever, because Coco was on the show for a hot 26 seconds. And I mean, steak still pink. You know, it's not even given rare, it's given double rare. She was in here and out of here with the quickness, right? And so for people to say they want to see you back on the show, you should have been liking comments that uplifted these ladies. You were on there for 15 minutes, 50 seconds. And so you should have been trying to build relationships with these women. That there was TikToks of Coco saying like, Alandria's actually really cool. I would love to hang out with her. That should have been your whole MO. That should have been your whole, as a businesswoman, business lady to business lady, or businessman to businesswoman, you know, whatever you want to say, you know, that should have been your MO, but instead you was doing this weird shit. And then for you to be being like, yeah, when they say that you were liking comments that said Shelly and Alandria should go, it's not it's hell no. Let's move on. Alandria and Shelly are saying there's a lot of people who played into their hate train, all the hate that they've been receiving, because it has been disproportionate. It has been disproportionately directed at these two black women and these two chocolate women, right? And so when they say, oh, you know, there's been people here who have participated in that, and Andy's like, who? Say their names or leave it on the playground. That's why Andy should have been the only interviewer. Somebody commented something that I want to respond to. Hold on, I seen your comment. Let me get to you, sister. Let me keep scrolling. Y'all commenting quick now. Somebody said Herbie is not going to get to something. The Black Healer. Come on, Black Healer. Do you do works? What do you heal? Let's talk. But you were responding to someone and said, I don't know if Herbie will get to Ace as that just happened. Oh no, Herbie's going to get to Ace. Are you referring to the interview that Ace did with Speedy after the reunion? Oh, Herbie's going to get to Ace. Sister, just lay back, sit back. We got time today. I can already tell this is going to be a 3-hour show. Y'all got time? Where you got me queued up? If I'm on your phone, put me on your TV. Sister, if you got me on your phone right now, put me on your TV. It's big screen things. Because I've got the moments. I've got the receipts. We've got time today. Amen. 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 Now, Let me let Coco continue.
Do you? I never felt that way. That's not even. No, I'm
Ooh.
gonna talk.
Okay.
I'm Team Chocolate Girls. I'm.
He didn't even want to hear. Okay. Wait, my laptop is dying. So I have to do the responsible thing and get my charger. Just 2 seconds, y'all. 2 seconds, ladies. Don't fight me. Just envision a bad bitch twerking. Envision that as the intermission. Ah! Where's my oh my God, where's my oh my God. And it be dying quick too. Oh, I got it, ladies. I got it. One thing the devil could never do. One thing the devil could never do is get in the way of what God ordains. Is get in the way of what God has ordained. Because see, there are how many? Almost right now live in the chat, 600 or more gathered in my name. I mean, not my name. Oh my God, gathered in his name, amen. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. All right, the light gonna go out for a quick second because I gotta adjust something. Boom. Boom. Now that's how you clear a bitch. Now that is that. Wait, what Kareem said? Why y'all saying thank you, Kareem? Who got a good man? Oh, you saying thank you because they got a good man. All right. The light off was a vibe. Okay. The light off being a vibe is for men who come over late at night for their secret peace. Okay. The light off is not a vibe for the homegirl hangout. Like you see, because we homegirls. Now, if it transitions out of homegirl into something a little bit more, substantial. Hurry, stay focused. Joe fuck. All right, so that's Coco. I think that was decent. She held her to account. I appreciate that, but and I hope that her and Coco can work through it. I hope that if I'm Alandria, it's like, girl, I don't really fuck with you, but you cool. We spoke about it, and you don't get to wait. Oh, it's not finished, right? Oh, the time has come right at the hour mark for us to get into the bully narrative that Huda helped push. So here's what I'm gonna do. I've got a tinkle for my winkle. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to run as fast as I can and release, wash my hands as we always do, love. And I'm gonna play this for you all of Huda. This is a compilation because before we get into Huda saying that she's been bullied, I feel like we have to give you all, because I know people who watch this show because you like hearing me dissect and provide my synthesis and analysis on pop culture, and you're probably not even a watcher of this season, which no judgment, but you probably want to get into it. So I'm gonna give you a highlight reel of how Huda was engaging on this show. And I want you to really get into it. And I'm going to keep my headphones in so I can hear it as well because my spirit deserves it.
Be so for real.
Jeremiah.
Amaya picks Jeremiah to be her fourth base. Do you not see what me and Jeremiah have? I just think that was the dumbest shit she could have fucking done. I'm not mad at Jeremiah. I want to start there. It is a challenge. He handled that well. But I think that bitch is fucking messy. I couldn't even look at her.
This is what I will say, just to be devil's advocate, is that, at the end of the day, remember, we're still exploring, and you guys say you're open.
Listen, I understand what you're saying.
2 seconds later.
You can kiss somebody else. That's fucking, I hated it. When I really like somebody, I don't play about what's mine. What's mine is mine and don't fucking touch it. I can already tell that the bitch doesn't fucking compare to me. Do I know her? No. Am I upset that she picked him for number one? Yes. I think she's messy as fuck. I don't like her. I just already don't like her. I don't like her. I don't think she's nice. I think that she has ulterior motives, and I just don't fuck with it. I have a feeling it's not about her. She's a beautiful girl. Go her. Woo-woo. Bitch, if you don't fucking quit it. Iris moves so weird to me.
You think so?
Yes. She hides everything from the damn get-go. She's over here, I'm a girl's girl. No, the fuck you're not.
Iris and Jeremiah, please stand behind the person you want to save.
He proceeds to save you.
Pussy ass bitch.
I know.
Told me that she is not his type, he's not attracted to her, and that he does not want to sleep in the bed with her.
Fuck you.
Oh, she just flipped somebody off.
He's a fucking bitch.
What'd you say?
Because of the fact that he had a great day with Iris. He wants to drop me to go with Iris.
Okay,
no, you're a fucking bitch. You're a pussy ass bitch.
Ooh. Whoop, 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 whoop. Ooh. That's y'all's mommy. That's y'all's mamacita. Y'all fell in love with that mommy. Y'all fell in love with that mamacita. Here's what I'll say. Thank you, sister. You know I'm always going to release. I think it's important to note that Huda did say that she was bullied this season and that resulted in really extreme consequences, severe consequences, racist consequences for the Black women on the show, who her fans believe to be the perpetrators of this bullying. But we see as evidence the myriad of ways that she has shown up. That is, if you watch the show, if you just watch the show objectively, you can see the code of ethics that everyone else abided by. You will see not a single other person on this season. And everybody has navigated their fair share of breakups, men switching around, women switching around, people dating outside. Excuse me. Bombshells coming in and taking their man, taking their woman. And no one has responded in such a nasty, deleterious, damaging, ratchet, ghetto, hood rat kind of way. I mean, I'm going to call it what it is, because I said this before. A lot of you girls feel like ghetto, hood rat, ratchet are reserved for Black people, and there's your anti-Blackness. That was some ghetto ass motherfucking behavior. And I'm going to call it what it is when I see it. That was hood rat behavior. Period. Now, with that being said, I do want to go ahead before I even give anything more, because I don't know that lady. I don't know her well enough to be like, oh, I don't like her. But I certainly do not like the way that she navigated that space. No one else, particularly the other Black women on the show, or the Black women on the show, would not have been able to navigate in the way that she navigated. Would not have been able to curse people out, call people out of their names, throw pillows, talk about men, women, multiple bombshells, gossip, conspire, just be outright nasty and get away with it. And again, I don't want any hate directed at anybody, including but not limited to Huda. But I am being critical, as that is my job as a media analyst, pop cultural critic, among many other things, to go ahead and be critical of her as what I perceive to be an antagonist of the show. Now, let me play this clip where Huda says that she was bullied, and we can talk for real. Carter, you said it. The Black women held themselves like the queens that they are. And honestly, we could put a pin in it right there, because I agree.
Some press interviews, I know that you said that you felt isolated in the village and bullied. As a viewer, I couldn't get it, because you seemed like you...
I love Andy for saying I couldn't get it. I love Andy for saying I couldn't get it. I could, as a viewer, not even as a person that they called and hired to work here, as a person who just has eyeballs and watched the show, I couldn't get it. This is the incidents where she said she was bullied. Let's talk about that. Let's dissect that from as best as we can be unbiased. So Huda's working out in the workout area directly in front of where these people are already seated. These people being Shelly, Sierra, Taylor, and Nick, I believe that's everybody. And they're engaging in a conversation, right? And they're engaging in a conversation where Sierra expresses that she was actually scared because Huda up to this point has been very unhinged, unpredictable. We don't know what she's gonna do next. She has hidden around corners and listened to conversations that she was not supposed to listen to. She has flicked people off. She has said, F you, you're a bitch, she has done things that is unlike her behavior is very unpredictable. She's a ticking time bomb, which is why she was given the name Hurricane Huda. And so when Sierra is expressing her real concerns about how she approached Iris, charged at Iris, and the folks are saying like, yeah, this is not new to Iris. She's done that with Amaya as well. I just provided you with the evidence, the data for you to see how she's spoken about Amaya, how she's spoken about Iris, how she's spoken about Jeremiah. Anybody who gets in her way of her desires. And really, she has a vendetta against Shelly, but let's not get there too soon. My hands are washed. They're a little ashy. Shea butter, baby. Let's not get there too soon. And so I'm looking at this scene and I'm like, you are being held accountable. And you happen to be directly in front of them because the villa is not that damn big, girl. The villa is not that damn big. And so they're like, oh, she thinks we're staring at her. We're looking in your direction because you're in front of us, but we're not staring at you. And it's the key. Like, oh my God, girl, this is gaggy. But no one's making fun of you. And for you to watch it and not get that context just reminds me like, oh, she's not a person who is comfortable or probably even has the tools, knows how to take accountability, knows how to view things objectively or to the best of her ability, step outside of herself. No, she's a very self-serving individual. Let's connect. Like, bitch, you a queen. Like, I don't want to hear no negative comments about my baby Shelly for real. Because first of all, you don't get to say to the world I was bullied. And that has, we've seen the consequences of that. And then I'll be like, oh, maybe I wasn't bullied. Maybe I should have used a different word. My feelings were hurt. Okay. You a big girl. You know how to, you see how you just said the words, my feelings were hurt. Your mouth just did that, not mine. You should have said it when you were on that interview with, what was it, People? No, you said you were bullied. Bullied is when people are aggressive toward you in a verbal manner, a physical manner, when people are violating you. You were not violated. You were being held to account. And that hurt your feelings because you don't like being held to account. Say that. And show me somebody else in the villa who behaved the way you behaved. Sorry, I just hit Renaissance. Like, it's just crazy, bro. Let me know you think that her fans thought that Olandria was one of the bullies. Considering Olandria, the only evidence we have of Olandria with respect to Huda is overwhelmingly her being supportive. I watched the whole season front to back. She has supported Huda in every endeavor where Huda has been participating in degrading and tearing down other women and been like, is that how you feel? Okay, I hear you. I'm holding space for you. That's been her position. And so why do you think that Huda's fans, I'm genuinely asking you, why do you think that Huda's fans said, you know what? Shelly was in a moment where she was holding Olandria accountable, but I see that as bullying, bitch, please. Where she was holding Huda accountable, and I see that as bullying. Olandria was not at that moment where they played that, where Huda said she was bullied, which I think that Huda was in my mind, allegedly, Huda was in cahoots with the producers and showed them the exact clip where she felt like she was bullied, and they played it because she asked them to. Because this whole reunion felt like a PR stunt where Huda could be held accountable to a point where she still was able to look good. That's how I feel. That was my biggest takeaway from this reunion. But why do we think that her fans felt like Olandria, who's been overwhelmingly supportive of her, was also a perpetrator of said bullying? I don't know. It doesn't take a rocket science to figure out that it might just be racism. It might just be racism. Let's go. Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up! Right now! Right now! Right now! Right now! Everybody be quiet. Everybody be quiet. I need silence. Silence. I have never in my life yelled at a girl like this. When my mother yells like this, it's because she loves me. You said that you didn't have time. You had so much going on. So that it prevented you from speaking out specifically against racism. You say, when she holds you to account and says, hey, people are plastering my face on George Floyd's body and putting your face on the officer that held his knee on his neck. And you didn't have time to speak out against that. You say in that moment, you lie, allegedly. Perhaps, I don't know. I wasn't there. But I'm going based off of how this interaction just went. You lie and say, I didn't know that. And NicOlandria follows up and says, I told you that. I told you that they plastered my face on George Floyd's body and your face on the officer that killed him. I told you that. And given that information, you say I didn't have the time. Ay, Dios, you didn't have the time. Just, do you recognize that? And I'm sure you do, because the world, I mean, everywhere but Antarctica, was on lockdown to witness how the world responded to the police brutality and the unaliving of George Floyd. The world. I'm talking every continent was touched with the BLM flag. You know what this means. You know what this means. And in this moment, you say, I just had so much going on. I just had so much going on in my personal life. Like I had an interview with Call Her Daddy, and I had an interview with people, and I've been dealing with Netflix and so much going on. Netflix, people, Call Her Daddy. Like how, if you were me, how could you speak out against racism when all these things are happening for you? 404 era. 404 error. I'm buffering. Control-Alt-Delete. Shut me down. Wipe me down. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? What would she do? Like, what would she do? I would say, hey, let it play. Because, girl, I'm heated. Heated. Hold on. I'm about to, girl. Turn my bicycle. Shut up, Andy. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Not the white woman said that she was getting racism hate too. You look me in my eyes and you come close when I'm saying this shit. Hold on. 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 Huda. Miss Thing.
It's like I see.
Hold on.
Because we were in the village.
Huda is a white woman. I don't know how many ways I can say it. I don't know how many ways I can contort it. She's not a white woman like Hannah Montana. She's not a white woman like Drew Barrymore or Strawberry Shortcake, or insert traditional American white womanness here, Sabrina Carpenter, Taylor Swift. No, she is not white in that conventionally understood white way. But she is, according to the United States Census Bureau, a white woman. So perhaps you experience Islamophobia. Perhaps you experience anti-Palestine sentiment and bigotry. Perhaps, and not even perhaps, I'm certain you experience those things because people are bigoted. But when someone tells you, I experience racism as a black person in this country, and you as a white person in this motherfucking country say, I didn't speak out because I was experiencing racism too. I'm not doing racism 101. I'm not doing race 101 with you. Especially not in a fascist, conservative, declining country. I love America more than any country on this planet. But in the words of James Baldwin, it is for that very reason that I reserve the right to critique her perpetually. You mean to tell me your white ass sat up there and said you couldn't speak out against an unambiguous, dark-skinned black woman experiencing what is akin to death threats, racially motivated death threats? She is unambiguously black. Even if you don't see yourself as conventionally white, because you're not, you are adjacent to traditional whiteness. You are adjacent to conventional whiteness, which is why they felt comfortable placing your face on the white officer who unalived the black man, George Floyd. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? And you say to this black woman, don't piss me off. Don't you piss me off because I'm getting heated again, because this is the height of racial hypocrisy. It is complicated, and I recognize that not everybody understands the way that race is different from ethnicity, which is different from nationality, and how you can be Italian, Irish, Polish, Palestinian, and all white. How you can be Jamaican, Haitian, Black, African American, Nigerian, and still Black. How you can be Thai, Japanese, Vietnamese, Chinese, still Asian. This grinds my gears in a way that I just don't know what to do with. The racism that you will experience as a white woman would never compare. And it's not just because of people are like, oh, because slavery ended to, first of all, slavery, America is how many years old? 200, it'll be 250 years old next year. 13, if we include the era of the 13 colonies and, America, how long have, the colonizers been on this continent? Well, over 400 years, right? Slavery was over 400 years. After slavery was Reconstruction and anti-black laws, the black laws that affected specifically Black Americans, where Black Americans were considered 3/5 human. After that was Jim Crow, which lasted until the 60s. Then we got the Civil Rights Act of 1960. I always get the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act mixed up. One is 1964, the other one is 1965. I always get them confused. But after that, in the 80s, we have the crack epidemic, which a lot of people suspect. I'm not saying that this is true. Do not take this as fact. Do your own research, okay? But a lot of people suspect that the CIA planted crack into the Black communities to destabilize the Black communities, to create the preschool to prison pipeline, to create the prison industrial complex where Black communities are disproportionately disadvantaged. You got Jim Crow, you got redlining, you got the crack epidemic. When you really look at it, how long have niggas actually been able to escape the vestiges of racial inequality? Was it under Obama? You tell me when it was. You tell me when it was. The deporter in chief. You tell me when it was. And I always have a counter response to you. In America, bitch, racism, specifically anti-blackness, to say I condemn bullying is spineless. Many people condemn bullying, but not many people condemn anti-blackness. Not many people condemn racism. It means something specific to call out anti-blackness and racism in America. And most of my ire is not directed at Huda. She's some lady, some white lady doing as white women do. As I've said before numerous times, this show has risen to the level of a social phenomenon. Sorry, my nose ring is itching. Has risen to the level of a social phenomenon. And as such, we can have broader discourse about what these conversations mean, because she's not the only white woman who feels this way. I'm so sorry, y'all. I've been going off. It's a lot. It's a lot for her to say, as a white woman, I've been experiencing racism as well. Chris, this is the woman you laid up with. Jeremiah, this is the woman you laid up with. I have nothing left for her. And I find it so interesting how millions of people rewarded her disproportionately. You know, she got what? My nose ring is really itching. That's because I get these cheap ass nose rings from the Dollar Beauty Supply. They $1.99 each. And when they do what they're doing now, I get rid of them. She was rewarded more than anybody else on this platform. 4+ million followers on TikTok, almost 5 million followers on Instagram. For being a crash out. For not standing up against racism. For being adjacent to bigotry. For being violent and deleterious. It's just it just doesn't sit right with me. It doesn't sit right with me. You pour my love is wine, girl. Love is wine, Miss Thing. Talk about it, Tron. If anything, Huda's success is indicative of the anti-DEI era we find ourselves in now. You know, here's what I'll say about that as well. I feel like toxic behavior has always been rewarded on reality TV. New York Tiffany Pollard was crazy on For the Love of Flavor. What is it? For the Love of Flavor? For the Love of Flavor Flav? And got her own spinoff show. Nene Leakes has been crazy. Kenya Moore has been crazy. Natalie Nunn has been crazy. And crazy is not always a bad thing. It's just that they have been rambunctious. And that they are a flavor of love. What did I say? For the Love of Flavor Flav? Who had a show for the love? Oh, For the Love of Ray J. That's what I was thinking of. I watched that with my late uncle. He introduced me to the flavor of love. I always say this. Whenever I introduce this, I always have to say, out of respect to him, that my uncle, who I do believe was a queer person, my whole time knowing him as a kid, he never had a girlfriend, never had a boyfriend, never had nobody, always was alone. And I knew him my whole life. He passed away when I was about 25. And my dad knew him before me. My dad and all, because my dad he's my uncle on my mom's side. And my dad was like, I saw that man with one woman the whole time I knew him. We was at a club. She was ready to go home with him. They never end up going home together. He was like, nah, I'm gonna let it go. And that was in the 90s. That was the gay man. Further proof is that he introduced me to Flavor of Love and then New York Tiffany and For the Love of Ray J. He was just into all of the things. And that's fake proof. You know, there were other things that I felt, but whenever I bring up these reality shows, I just feel like a part of the way that we keep people alive is by saying their name. So I had to say his name. I love you. I won't say his name. I don't know if I feel comfortable saying that to the world, but I love my uncle. Let's move on. Uncles are very important is the long and short. I want to go ahead and move to what Ace said after I don't even want to play any more of this. I want to move on to what Ace said after the reunion, but I want to say this before I go. The heart rate challenge. And it's been an hour and a half. No, it's been an hour and a half. The heart rate challenge, my long and short thoughts are the clip that they showed, the extended clip they showed us was clipped up. A lot of people who came after who were on the show said it was still clipped up. It wasn't everything. 2, in my opinion, allegedly. And 2, Huda is jealous of Shelly. She said when she came downstairs in her green bikini, Chris was not focused on her. He was focused on Shelly. She went after cursing out Iris and Amaya for just flirting with, smiling at, kissing Jeremiah. She went and licked Ace's genitalia, knowing that they had been in a longer relationship than she and Jeremiah. If you were really Shelly's friend, you would understand that there are limits to what you do. But you're jealous. You're jealous of the attention that she gets because you don't feel like she deserves it as a black woman. You don't feel like she deserves it as a dark-skinned black woman. You feel like as the white or white adjacent, light-skinned, racially and ethnically ambiguous girl, when I move in this green bikini, all heads should turn. I'm that bitch. I was Giovanna. I was that bitch. Where my arch always stands at. I was Giovanna. I was that bitch. But you weren't. This is what I always say. I always would tell you in the face of colorist discourse, Herbie is always going to remind my dark-skinned women, my dark-skinned men, my dark-skinned non-binary biddies, bitch, I said you bad to my brown-skinned women, my brown-skinned men, my brown-skinned biddies. Bitch, I said you bad. I know so because I'm inclusive with my politic. To my light-skinned women, light-skinned men, and light-skinned biddies. Bitch, I said you bad. If you black, you bad. If you brown, you bad. To me, there are beautiful white women and white men as well. But who I want to focus in on this homegirl hangout and everyone thereafter is black people. To be black is to be gorgeous. It's antithetical to hold the term blackness and ugly in the same sentence. Bitch, I said you bad. So when Shelly pumps through, serving the mug, body, face, belly, wig, and toe that she's serving, yeah, niggas see it. Niggas feel it. Because she's bad. Let's move on. Ace, to the front of the classroom.
NicOlandria and Nick's relationship is real.
Corny.
Is this you thinking, or is this your answer? I'm going to assume that that's your answer.
Mm-hmm.
Is that tough for you because Olandria is someone that you consider to be a close friend?
Yeah. Yeah, it really is tough for me because, again, we just, like, she just came out here for Shelly's birthday, and we all spent a time together at the club, and we all kicking and shit like that, so I have a lot of respect for Olandria.
Do you?
Again, from the last conversation that I've had with, you know, Nick, it was a matter of it's not a romantic spark. They just, you know what I'm saying? They find each other attractive.
Nick and Olandria's relationship, you've expressed your, in silence, you've expressed your opinions on that. Do you think that the other relationships that have come from Love Island are real?
Yeah, Taylor and Clark, I know that's for sure real.
And the other ones, not so much, or?
Okay. Here's what I'll say. I'll start with something nice. He's so cute. Like cute, like adorable. Like he looks like Winnie the Pooh. I said this to my friend when I first saw him on the screen. I'm like, he look like Winnie the Pooh. Do you like Winnie the Pooh to you? He's so cute. I don't live for this statement. You have been present as everyone has been holding Olandria under a microscope. Are her relationships real? Do men actually want her? People are waiting for the other shoe to drop with Nick. Like, oh girl, he's faking it. He can't really want her. Look at her. She's dark skinned. Like, how could he really want her? Because she's beautiful. And so for you to contribute in any way, you didn't have to. You could have been like, I don't know. You should ask them. I'm not in the, because you're not. Now, perhaps Nick said something to you where it's like, you know, what he was basically giving is like, they have perhaps sexual chemistry. They find each other attractive, but there's not really a romantic chemistry there, which is fine for me. What really bothered me most, well, actually, let me finish that thought and I'll tell you what really bothered me most, which is fine for me because sometimes you like someone, you see them, they're very attractive to you. You like, damn, I hope this works. And then you find out that like, they're into anime and you're into drama. They're into rock and you're into R&B. They like to go to jazz clubs and you like to go to, you know, R&B slow jam nights, you know, speakeasies. You're just different. You're not compatible to come home and be intimate with that person. Like they may be an extrovert and you're an introvert. There's a lot of things. So being physically attracted to someone does not always connote romantic attraction because there's so many things that go along with that, right? And that's fine. That's fair. So I can respect that. I don't respect Ace coming out and making that a public statement because it's just not his place. It's just not his place. And I just feel like we as people who viewed the show, who were not a part of the show, it's our place to speculate. We're speculating. We weren't there. So we're like, oh, this could mean this could mean that. We're engaging in discourse. You were present. And you see how the world is saying X, Y, and Z about. Now, have I personally felt like Olandria has been engaging in slight delusion? Yeah. But also, I got an edited clip. I wasn't in the villa. I don't know what Taylor was giving her that we didn't see. I was like, girl, Taylor is not feeling you, and it's clear to me. But people in the villa were saying, no, it wasn't given that. So then I have to follow the account of people who were there, not the people contorting the show. Anyway, here's what I want to say about this. The thing that grinded my gears most about this with Ace is like, you're presenting yourself as the moral high ground, as a person who is morally superior. Like, you know, everybody coming on the show to get followers. This is a business deal for them. Like, I had 1 million followers on Instagram before I came on here. I had a following. I came on here to really find my person. Okay. How do I say this in a way that is respectful, in a way that acknowledges your humanity? Bitch, that's a motherfucking lie. And the truth ain't in you. That is a motherfucking lie, and the truth ain't in you. Do you hear me? And here's why I say that. As a person with a decent sized following, it's not as large as 1 million followers on any platform, but it is across my various platforms. This channel, my main channel, TikTok, Instagram, etc. I have about 150,000 to 200,000 followers across all my pages. I've gotten millions of views across everything that I've produced. And I recognize that having a following that you create is very different from having mass appeal. Having a large following is very different from having mass appeal. So sure, he had a large following on Instagram and TikTok from doing his little, dance videos, right? But when you go on Love Island, you are now in connection and have a relationship with Peacock. And more broadly, NBC Universal. I'm sorry, that's very different, baby. We can't even compare the two, because your audience is isolated to whatever you've been able to gravitate on your specific niche of content. Anybody who watches the audience, this was the highest grossing, or not highest grossing, the most streamed show across all of streaming television. That means HBO, Stars, Prime, Netflix, everybody. Those people are into all different types of content, and they're watching you, and now they're invested in your story. Shelly was just invited to Beyonce's Sacred Hair Care launch. Alandria now has secret dealings with Netflix that she can't speak about. And what happened? That's because their brand has been broadened. Because now they have a kind of mass appeal that you just can't get on your own. That's a level of scaling that comes from being on a televised dating show. And also, let's say this. Season 6 Love Island got 1.1 billion, that's with a B, billion watch minutes a week. You mean to tell me you entered this show just because you wanted to find love, Ace? Ace is an attractive man. Wendy the Pooh cutesy, but fine. With over 1 million followers, let's say half of them are women. 500,000 women at your disposal digitally. You said you were doing well for yourself economically, which means you don't have an issue with traveling to be wherever these women are. Why did you go on a dating show? You don't have an issue finding a woman. Oh, you know that being hyper televised means that this is a business venture. This ain't Love is Blind. Love is Blind is a business venture as well. However, Love is Blind, these are, average looking folk, sometimes beautiful folk who can easily say, like, I'm tired of navigating the dating market the way that I have been, where my looks matter so much. I want to fall in love sight unseen. Then you have women coming on, saying they look like Megan Fox and searching for true love. And they're able to do that because they can't be. Sorry. If you are a Love is Blind viewer, then you know that Chelsea just caught a stray. I live for Chelsea. But it is what it is. And so, yeah. Let me play something else that I thought was more germane.
Huda looked like she appreciated the fact that you stood behind her.
Yeah.
Reached her arm out to thank you. Yeah. And you kind of just looked at the hand and shook it off.
And said, hell no.
What happened there?
First things first, a lot of people were under the impression that it was me standing behind Huda because Shelly was cool with Huda, and that's why I want to go. It was not that. I can guarantee you it wasn't that. Again, a lot of influences play on, Islanders being voted off,
So basically what he's alluding to, or what we could probably surmise allegedly, is that production is one of those influences. Perhaps, we don't know. We genuinely don't know because we weren't there. But we could interpret that perhaps production told him to vote Huda, considering he didn't even like Huda. So that tells us that why Iris stood behind Huda, perhaps, considering Huda had just drug her through the mud and called her everything but a child of God. Let's move on to the next topic. I'm tired of talking about this. Those are my Love Island thoughts. I love you, America. Good night. Is that not illegal? I don't know. Netflix. Okay, let's get into Jussie Smollett. I'm tired. Woo, I'm tired. I need like a fruit cup or something. Who got some chips? So Jussie Smollett actually participated in a documentary, or was featured in a documentary about his 2019 alleged hate crime hoax, or his attacking, however you want to understand that. And for me, I remember seeing, last year, November, that Jussie Smollett was found, I wouldn't say found innocent. What is it? I have it written here. That his convictions were overturned, right? So the Illinois Supreme Court overturned his 2021 conviction for the staging of a hate crime, not based on finding his innocence, but more so based on his Fifth Amendment right not to be tried twice for the same crime. So essentially, the prosecution gave him an initial deal where they dropped the charges, and then he was charged again. So that is an issue with double jeopardy. And for me, I feel like I was gonna do a video on it that around that time, November, but I was like, everybody's kind of made up their mind on this case. Everybody's kind of moved on. We said what we said. It is what it is, and everybody has their opinion, right? And also, what is also true is I was having a difficult time forming an opinion. As a Black queer person, I didn't know what was going to happen when these allegations first came out. I'm like, the girls are not going to believe you, girl. You're a Black gay man, girl. It's a child. But when I saw so many people, specifically the Black and queer community, supporting him, I'm like, okay. And then the Chicago PD came out and released information that made the story look a little bit more confusing. And I saw the world turn on him. And I'm like, I don't know what to feel. Do I want to believe this institution over this individual? I don't know. Because of the evidence that was being presented to me. And so I decided to not decide. I decided to not land on a specific position. It was what it was. It is what it is. And I moved on. So now that he participated, he is now involved in this documentary that just released, what was it? Last week? I'm like, let me watch it. So I watched it. And just a quick disclaimer. Everything I'm about to say is according to my recollection of the documentary, and it is alleged. I don't know anything for real, because I am not deeply connected to anybody, or not even remotely connected to anyone involved in this documentary, as far as I know. I don't know these people, and I don't know anything. So the documentary seemed to be doing two things. For those of you who didn't watch, buckle up, Buttercup. The documentary seemed to be doing two things. One, to present all the evidence of why Jussie might have been guilty of staging a hate crime, right? And so it gathered everybody who felt to me very crucial to the Jussie Smollett case and their respective accounts of what happened that night, including but not limited to Jussie Smollett himself, who was reluctant originally to even be involved. The former superintendent of the Chicago Police Department, Melissa Staples, the former chief of detectives for the CPD, Jussie Smollett's former assistant and former defense attorney, the investigative reporter, Shelly Stanley. And it's important that we say her name because she did some additional digging that had me gagging. I'm like, oh, now I'm questioning whether or not the Chicago PD had something to hide, because why would you move in this way? Right. And many other folks were involved in this. So essentially, let's start with the stuff that said, okay, Jussie, you a liar and you guilty. It was, these are the pieces of evidence that I found to be memorable. It was below 0 degrees that night. Why would you be outside? The police tracked the only two men that they believe that they saw outside that night around the scene of the crime in ski masks. They tracked them catching one ride transportation service and then another ride transportation service to get to a destination where they walked, and then they lost their signal within blocks of the Osendero brothers' home, which are the Nigerian American men who they believe perpetrated the crime. One of the Osendero brothers were paid a check of $3,500 by Jussie before the attack, and after the attack, they took a trip to Nigeria. They found it suspicious that he kept the noose around his neck after the attack because it's like, what black person would keep a noose around their neck? They found it suspicious that he wouldn't give his phone up to them, and they attributed that to the text message that Jussie sent to one of the Austin Darrow brothers that read, "I might need your help on the low. You around to meet up to talk face to face." To talk about what? What might you need my help with on the low, right? They found it suspicious that after being robbed, he would grab his perfectly firm and fixated Wawa sandwich and run back into the house. They grabbed the Austin Darrow brothers after they got back from Nigeria. They held them for what I believe was around 24 to 48 hours. They raided their home and found weapons, according to the documentary, guns. And the Austin Darrows ended up admitting to it. They also found footage of the Austin Darrow brothers buying ski masks. Now, the second half of the documentary does what I believe was Jussie's intent of the documentary, which is to inspire reasonable doubt. So there were two independent witnesses, one black man who worked at a hotel nearby the scene of the crime, who claimed that he saw a white man in a ski mask. And he knows he was a white man because he stepped out of the hotel and put a flashlight in his face and saw that he was a white man, near the scene of the crime. There was another white woman who was walking her dog around the time of the scene of the crime, because her dog had to poop or whatever, or pee, do their business. And she saw a white man as well who had a rope out of his pocket or on his person. And she thought that was suspicious. And of course, that seems plausible because she's a woman walking at night, seeing a man with a rope is suspicious. Even as a queer person, I'm like, girl, what's the tea? What's going on? Right? A black person as well. I'm like, what's the tea? What's going on? Those witnesses were never called to trial. Suspicious. Neither of the Austin Darrow brothers' DNA was found on the rope. It was Jussie's DNA and another unidentified individual. Okay. There was footage of the white man in a ski mask near the sign. Remember I told you there was a black man who said that he saw a white man in a ski mask near the scene of the crime who put a flashlight in his face and could tell you forward and backward that he saw a white man? That footage was sent to one of the investigative reporters. And just as that black man is about to walk out the front door, let me move this right here. Just as that black man is about to walk out the front door of the hotel, 10 seconds are cut from the clip. 10 seconds that could be very vital to identifying who this alleged perpetrator is, because if he's putting if he's putting a flashlight to his face where we can see the race of this person or the perceived race of the complexion of this person, then we would know that at the very least they were fair-skinned and not dark-skinned black men, right? Very interesting that footage is just missing. When the CPD sent the footage over, that 10 seconds were missing. And I find that very interesting. They also say that the CPD has a history of tampering with evidence, specifically in cases affecting black folks. And they note that one of the Austin Darrow brothers is an ex-felon and should not be in possession of firearms. And so when they raided their home and found multiple different guns in their home, allegedly, according to the documentary that I remember, it could be argued that they are at a disadvantage when the police are talking to them, because it's like, one could suggest that they might say, hey, you're not supposed to be in possession of firearms. That's a felony. So we're in need of a win. We just had this incident where there was an unarmed black man where a white police officer shot him 16 times, body flat, cold, laid on the ground. We can't have another racially motivated homophobic attack. We need this win. In my mind, this could have happened. Not to suggest that it actually did happen. And I think there was enough evidence introduced to make me feel like, who would hire two dark-skinned black men to commit a crime against them that they were going to say were perpetrated by white men? Who would sign a check for $3,500 attached to them that could easily be traced back to them and not give them cash? Who would text someone something that they could call so there wouldn't be a trail run? Jussie says that text, whereas like I might need your help on a low, was about an illegal steroid that you could only get in Nigeria, which is why they ended up going to Nigeria to get it. It's also been argued that the Nigerian brothers were told that Jussie identified them, and that may have been also a catalyst for why they said that Jussie, did this to them. I don't know. I I don't know, but I know there's enough information to inspire reasonable doubt. And I wanted to introduce that to you all because I don't think it was getting enough coverage. I'm going to be very quick about this, okay? Lil Nas X is facing up to 5 years in prison, and that is very, very spooky. I contemplated about whether or not I wanted to play the clip of him in the white underwear and the white cowboy boots, and I just decided not to. For me, I want us to... A lot of people were saying, like, is this a stunt? You know, he's a stunt queen, and he has built his career on being a troll. So in many ways, there is probable cause to ask that question. In other ways, I say, like, it was clear to me this person is either having a mental break or they're not well. Other people online were saying that, we're speculating whether or not this was drug induced for him to be walking around the way that he was walking around. I don't know. What I will say is my heart went out to him because as a person, bitch, I can't even smoke weed. And I say this all the time, I'm a punk. Because it makes my heart race. The most you get out of me is a wine and a little bit of liquor. Thank you. But when it comes to, you know, other drugs, hard drugs, I'm not that girl. I'm not, because the girls don't like to say it, but alcohol is a drug thing. When it comes to those other recreation, and I'm not judging people who get into it, but I know that there's an increase of girls in the scene doing K, doing, you know, Tina, partying. And I just want us to hold each other's hands and make sure that we're doing these things with people who love us. We're doing these things safely. Because when I see how people responded to him, just filming him and not asking whether or not he was okay, not contacting folks who could help him, I was just disgusted by that. I was genuinely fucking disgusted by that. No tea, no shade. So my prayers are actually lifted up for him. I hope that he's able to get through this and get through this well. Now, let's move on to Cardi B. Hold on. Let me get this Cardi B clip up. It's too small. I need it bigger. Ooh. Why would I say that like that? I do need it bigger though.
Your own words, what you said.
I said, bitch, get the fuck out my face. Why are you in my face? Why are you recording me? Ain't you supposed to be security?
Tell it to her now. Go ahead.
Huh?
Say it again. Say it.
Objection, Your Honor.
You want me to say it to her face?
I want you to tell it to her face what you said on that day so she can hear it for herself.
The objection is sustained. And, Your Honor, do we have civility in the courthouse?
And if you wanted to scratch or cut her face with your right hand or your left hand, if you wanted to do it, you could have done it.
First of all, why would the lawyer be asking her to curse her out? Okay, correct. So Cardi B, hold on.
But I didn't because
I had a baby inside of me. So essentially what's happening is, if you don't know, Cardi B is currently in civil court for something that happened in 2018. She went to go see her OBGYN while she was pregnant. And while she was there, her and a security guard ended up getting into it. The security guard alleges that Cardi B scratched her on her face and allegedly spit on her. And so she is requesting $24 million in damages. And so Cardi B is currently in court. That was her defense attorney. That was her, Amani, the woman who is making these allegations, the former security guard. That's her defense attorney. It's giving public defender, because what is this? What is this? You ask her what she said to Amani and then tells her to curse her. Like, you want me to curse her out? Yes, I want you to curse my client the fuck out. Why? I have a vendetta against my client. Like, I don't really like my client. Like, what's going on? It's just a little weird to me. How do I feel about this? Yes. Brando, $24 million. Now, here's what I'll say. It's a civil suit, so she can, sue for whatever she wants. $24 million to me does feel like a money grab. That's not to say that Cardi B did or did not do this, right? Cardi B's rich. If she engaged in that activity, I don't really have a real opinion. If she did it, pay the lady. If she didn't, Garrett, don't pay the lady, right? That's for the court to figure out.
Inside me.
How did she
It's the headphones that I keep accidentally clicking play. But it's like the defense attorney is really the key for me. That's what I've been focused on. What is the defense attorney giving? Like, why is you giving it up like this? Go.
Let's slow down the pace just a little bit.
Are you disabled? Yes or no?
At that moment, when you're pregnant, I'm very disabled. You want me to tell you the things I can't do?
Fine. What was your months? 4 months? 3 months? 3 to 4 months. Fair enough? For what reason over your head? To protect your identity?
It could be I don't really want people to recognize me. My hair not done. My makeup not done. I probably just woke up. A lot of reasons. Very concerned.
He's asking her why she wore a hoodie.
Because I'm pregnant and this girl's
weird.
about to fucking beat my ass. Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. I'm here.
The lawyer, like, hello. Is we into it? Are we into it? Because what's going on? Like, I'm about to give Cardi her baddie shade. I'm gonna have to give Cardi her baddie shade. Because what's going on? You asked her why was she intimidated or why was she scared? Cardi B is at her OBGYN pregnant. I don't know whether or not she hit that lady, but I know it is plausible to feel like, oh, a person who's carrying a child. Cardi B is a small woman. She says she was 130 pounds at the time. And the lady is, from what I can see, she appears to be larger than her. And even if she wasn't larger than her, one of them is pregnant. The other is presumably not. And so there's probable cause to be like, I'm a little spooked right now. I'm here to check on my baby, do an ultrasound, and I'm into it with the security guard. And a security's job may be to touch you, including but not limited to touch you and get you up out of here. So yes, I'm spooked. I'm in the process of carrying a baby. Didn't ask her, were you disabled? She was carrying a human being. I don't know if that categorizes her as disabled, but she's not normally abled. There's a whole human person growing inside of a human person. She can't do the stuff she normally could do if there was not another person growing inside of her. So perhaps she might be a little not normally abled. I don't know. Maybe I'm going on a limb here. I don't know. It seems, who is the defense attorney? What is going on?
So you said she's bigger than you? Is that correct?
Absolutely.
How do you know that?
I mean, look.
I'm looking. I don't agree with that. What is your basis? Are you saying she's physically bigger? She's taller?
I mean, you have her medical records, right?
I don't have anything. I'm asking you the question.
I mean, I was 130 pounds at that time.
So she's overweight, right?
Why would you ask her that? Why would you ask her, is your client overweight? So my client is a big, fat, sloppy, beanbag built sumo wrestling security guard in your opinion, right? No, say it. Say my client is a BBW, beanbag built, too sloppy to walk, overweight, morbidly obese. You were afraid that she was going to consume you, correct? That's what you felt? No, read my client. No, go ahead, read my client. Just read her. I'm actually just here for fun. Like, what is happening? If I'm the client, I'll be like, excuse me, do me a favor. Let me tap you on the shoulder. Get down. I'm going to defend myself. I'm going to cross-examine the witness. Or what is she, the plaintiff? I'm going to cross-examine her. Because what is happening here? He's basically saying that his client is a sumo wrestling security guard. And he wants her to say it with her mouth. Cardi B has just gotten out of a rut with the community that has held her accountable for her fatphobic comments. She does not need this. She does not need this. This is not what she needs. This is not what she needs. You know? My God, on today, it's just a joke. She doesn't even respond to this.
She's a little...
You don't need to answer me.
You don't need to answer, Miss Girl. It's just a joke. Cardi B, we're gonna be following this case.
Did you call her fat?
Did you call her fat? She responds, says, no, I called her a bitch. Cardi B, we're gonna be following this case very, very closely. We're keeping you in our prayers. And the lady who was allegedly beat up and spat on by Cardi B, if that happened to you, of course, you're always at the top of our prayer list. You know, the Bible says where two or more are gathered in his name, there he shall be in the midst. Let's go ahead and move on. Every different look. Oh, somebody brought up the album. As the album comes timely, or I feel like people were saying this is bad promotion. I'm like, I feel like she might win this case, and in that way, it's pretty good promotion. She looks like a G in the court, and if it's a hip hop album and she's trying to target people who are hip hop fans love somebody who pulls up like a G against the system. So I don't necessarily feel like this is bad press. Cardi actually needs this press. Now let's move on. Snoop Dogg and Buzz Lightyear. So Snoop Dogg is making headlines for the first time in forever since his MAGA Republican tribute to Donald Trump at the inauguration for the formerly disgraced, twice impeached Cheeto in office, Donald Dump. Now, with that being said, what do I have to say about this specifically? I don't trust him. He made comments that I feel like, I would actually respond to this in good faith to a family member, a person who's actually trying to learn. I don't trust that he's actually trying to learn. I don't feel like he might actually be trying to learn. I feel like you performed at that very nasty person's inauguration. We know, even if you say that you don't care about what happens to immigrants, because that doesn't affect Black people, although it absolutely will. And it already is. It already is happening as we speak. You knew during his campaign that he said he was going to give police officers immunity. We see how he has militarized DC and is from my opinion, allegedly targeting specifically Black communities, where the militarization of this area is disproportionately impacting other Black folks. If you are Snoop Dogg, a hip hop star whose fan base is Black folks, this is something you should care about, right? Fuck the fan base. If that's just where your heart is, that's what you should care about. But no, you are a hip hop rapping, money making, shucking and jiving, tap dancing coon for whoever's gonna sign a check, is what it's giving me. So I don't respect. He did come out and make a statement, redacting kind of what I'm about to play for you. But essentially, Snoop Dogg has made headlines again because I'm getting ahead of myself. Snoop Dogg is making headlines again because he was questioning, how do we navigate conversations with young folks about same-sex families and queer families? I'm going to play it and we'll talk some more.
Is that we have to show that at this age, like, that part. They're going to ask questions. Yeah.
Snoop Dogg's latest comments are raising eyebrows. After taking one of his grandchildren to see the Disney film Lightyear, the rapper recalls during an episode of the It's Giving podcast being shocked to see an LGBTQ plus couple represented on the big screen.
So we watching it, and the lady, which is Kiki's mama, they move on into the space years, they move down the line. They're like, man, she had a baby with a woman. Well, my grandson in the middle of the movie like, Papa Snoop, how she have a baby with a woman? She a woman. Oh, shit. I didn't come in for this shit. I just came to watch the goddamn movie. So it's like, I'm scared to go to the movies now. Like, y'all throwing me in the middle of shit that I don't have an answer for.
What'd you tell him?
Watch the movie. Eat this popcorn.
Shh. You said, we don't know.
It threw me for a loop. I'm like, what part of the movie was this? These are kids that we have to show that at this age, like,
that part.
They're going to ask questions.
Yeah.
I want to pull up something for somebody special. Okay? So bear with me while I pull up something for somebody special. Hold on. Because I actually do have some really good commentary for the door. I want to play this right here. I found it. Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now let me share my screen. Let me do this just like this. Y'all ready? I'm gonna take my time. She can get her before she can get her before all right, let me share my screen right now. How you share your screen? Oh, boom. Y'all see my sister? Y'all see my sister Harriet. So what I want for Snoop Dogg to do is I want you to read these lyrics to Harriet Tubman. Yeah. I want you to read the lyrics to Sensual Seduction to Harriet Tubman. Let's go ahead. You said, if you don't know by now, Doggy Dog is a freak. I keep a bad bitch with me 7 days out of the week. And all that we ever do is play in the sheets. Then smoke a cigarette and go to sleep. You know what sleep meant to Harriet Tubman? You know what it meant to her? It meant once in a lifetime rest. Do you know what weak meant to Harriet Tubman? It meant weak in the knees after traveling with tens of slaves to freedom. Do you know what freak meant to Harriet Tubman? It meant the white supremacists who were beating her. It meant a whip. It meant a whip to her. It meant a whip to her. And so my question to you, Mr. Doggy Dog, is how are you going to explain this, not only to your grandchildren, but to Harriet Tubman when you see her in heaven, if you make it there? If you make it there. How will you explain this to Harriet? Because I've got it on good account and good sources that Harriet Tubman is right next to the angel Michael and the angel Gabriel. Here, Jesus, Gabriel, Michael, Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman. How are you going to explain this to Harriet? Don't piss me off. Now, here's what I'll say about this with Snoop Dogg. Snoop Tickety Dogg. Stop it, for real. Stop it, because I'm being dead ass. Listen, Snoop Dogg, I actually want to engage this for real, from a real place. You said you went to the movies with your 6-year-old kid. He ended up, let me put Snoop Dogg back on the screen and get rid of Harriet Tubman. Let me get rid of Harriet Tubman. So Snoop Dogg, you said you went to the movies with your 6-year-old grandchild, and you then came out with a statement after you received a lot of backlash from the LGBT community and said, like, hey, a lot of so many of my gay friends are reaching out to me. I'm like, which gay executive is the friend that's reaching out to you? Which gay executives are reaching out? Because it's not no gay friends, plural. It's some gay executives who sign your checks who are reaching out to you. So let Harriet rest. Harriet is marching right now at the Golden Gates. Okay. She'll rest some other time. Right now, she's handling heaven. Now, you came out and apologized to the LGBT community and said, hey, help me learn. And this is actually what I want to do, all jokes aside, because I find that people have a difficult conversation about having conversations about family. I personally feel like at 6 years old, you're what, in kindergarten, first grade? You shouldn't be having conversations about how families are formed in general, right? Like, at all. In kindergarten, you're learning ABCs, 1, 2, 3s, how to color within the lines, this is a dog, this is a cat. What sound does this animal make? These are the things that are important. And outside of that, it's faith, family, love, education. It is not how is family formed. I remember when, or actually, I don't, you know, I remember when I was young and I was talking to my aunt, and, you know, my aunt said to me, my aunt was at my mom's house. She was at my house and she was carrying one of my cousins. And I was like, oh my God, why is your belly so big? And she was like, oh, I'm pregnant. I'm pregnant with your cousin. And I was like, oh, there's a baby in there. She was like, yeah. I was like, how are you going to get it out? Well, first I asked, how did it get in there? And my mom responds from the kitchen. I'm in the living room, dining room, whatever. You know, it's a small house, we in a hood. Well, my mom responds to the kitchen. Listen, baby, when mommy really loves daddy, daddy knows that mommy wants a baby. So daddy gave mommy a baby and he put it in her stomach. Right? He gave auntie a baby and he put it in her stomach. I'm like, oh, okay. I don't even really have a concept of what love is. I don't know what that means, but I'm like, okay, she wanted something. When I want things, people give them to me. I'm 5, 6, you know, I'm very young. So when you want something, people who love you give you those things. And I was like, how you gonna get it out? How's it going to get out? And she was like, oh, through my belly button. I don't know why she said that. And it stuck with me through my whole life because I'm like, what a small hole for the baby to come out of. And my mom was like, go upstairs, boy. Right? And that was the end of that. Everybody, you can explain it however you want. But when my mom said, go upstairs, boy, you know what that translated to me? Something that I heard all my life as a kid. You're a child. Stay in a child's place. Hello. For Snoop Dogg to be a nigga all his 11 years of his life and say, I don't know how to respond. I don't know how to respond to that. I asked my dad, can we go to McDonald's? He say, do you got McDonald's money? I say to him, no, but you do. He said, you a kid, stay in a child's place. This is about a kid's meal. This is what he said to me about behind a kid's meal. We say stay in a child's place for everything. You gossiping with your homegirl like, I cannot believe Tamika really did him like that. The kid like, I know. What's going on with Tamika? Stay in a child's place. Get to the playground. Keep running. Keep running. We say that for everything that we feel like kids are not in an age category to understand. But it's also like, I also understand the legitimate curiosity around like, let me ask the internet. The internet is smarter than all of us. How do I navigate this situation? What's the most appropriate way to navigate this situation, right? Because as people, we have queer families. I'm tiptoeing into Unk age. Tiptoeing. And so when my baby nieces and nephews see me, I don't have any kids. I don't got a man to first. But if that ever happens, you know, they may have the question like, how did uncle do that? You know, how did auntie do that? Auntie got on a do-rag and a wife beater. You know, that's auntie. But auntie got a friend and her friend just had a kid. How did they do that? Even though she had on a do-rag and double D titties with a sports bra and saran wrap behind the titties. How did they do that? Baby, auntie is a him. Baby, auntie is a him. Auntie is a him. Auntie set up different. Not all aunties are made the same. This auntie is a him. No. Reason being. There are all types of people who live in this world. So when your kids see, I feel like a very easy way to explain this is 1, stay in a child's place. 2, if you want something more specific, okay, auntie is a stillness thing. But you don't have to say that to a kid. You also don't have to say auntie is a him. You also don't have to say auntie is a him. What you can say is, honestly, you allow that person to introduce themselves to your kid. So I'm Auntie Tamika, I'm such and such. I remember I had one gay uncle when I was a kid and I never really met him, but I always heard about him talk at family functions. His name was Auntie Styles because he was in his drag queen era. And the girls wasn't feeling that. So he never came around. He was never invited to anything. He was a disgrace. And it would have been great to have him as a kid, but I've had other gay role models where like my gay god brother, who I say all the time, He's not officially my godbrother. I kind of told him he's going to be my godbrother. I met him in adolescence, and he's a queer person who I met in church, actually, who helped mentor me and navigate me through all the things and always gave me insight that was age appropriate. And here's what I'll say about this. You can easily say when two people love each other and they want to have a kid, they can do that. Love creates a family. How did that happen? Love creates a family, baby. Love creates a family. She loves her, they created a family. He loves her, they created a family. He loves him, they created a family, because love creates a family. It's just love. Kids, no, adults can't even wrap our mind around the profundity of love. But we all have an intuitive understanding that love is a positive, wholesome thing that is available to all of us. And when you love someone, love can create family. Period. That's it. Hello? Simple. Boom. Dab hard. Dab hard. It just feels very simple. Or you could do the age-old adage of you a child, stay in a child's place, stay out of Auntie Styles' business. Thank you. Stay out of Auntie Styles' business. And so you just move on. That's just how I feel about it. My MacBook is fully charged. This has been a really, really good show. I wanted to talk a little bit about white women's business. Perhaps we will. Let me see. She can get her before Perhaps we can talk about some white women's business. I got time. It's only been an hour and 18 minutes. What an excellent way to run through this show. Let's see. Oh my God, Taylor Swift! Taylor! Hey, kitty girl! It's your world. Stay out. Listen, if I was dropping anything in the next 3 to 6 months, I would cancel it. As much as you or I she may not be at the top of our list. We understand Taylor Swift's power. Taylor Swift has the power of 1,000 Nigerian soldiers. I mean it. Her power over the industry is ridiculous. And I want to congratulate her. I always say this because I remember in 2023, there was a lot of comparisons between Taylor Swift and Beyonce. And this juxtaposition of these two women has been around for a long time, since 2009, when Kanye West pulled that stunt that he pulled. And they've always been very friendly to one another. So I would have made up my own mind about them because I'm a person with an independent mind. But, in 2009, I was 10, 11. So I've always responded to both of them positively because they've responded to each other positively, and because they both make really good music that is very different. So I'm very excited to see how Taylor Swift has grown. I'm excited to see how Life of a Showgirl sounds. And I will be following that album. I feel like I have a similar thought around, that's all I have around that. Shout out to her. Shout out to her love, period. I have a similar thought around Sabrina Carpenter's album. It just dropped today. And I've been listening to it. I was listening to it as I was in the shower getting ready for the show tonight. And I'm like, I'll live for this. This is good. But Sabrina Carpenter is the kind of girl where, much like Taylor Swift, the vocal is not the focal point. You don't walk away from a Taylor Swift album or a Sabrina Carpenter album like, Jesus Christ, she sang down. Did you hear that riff? Did you hear what I heard? The vocal dexterity, the agility. No. These are girls that you have to listen to, hear the story, see if it resonates with you, and then engage in a conversation about the poetic prose of these women, about their pen, about their ability to construct a story in a way that feels resonative, maybe not to you, but maybe to what you feel like is specifically to their target audience or to a larger mass of people. But what I will say is what's different about Miss Sabrina is Sabrina gives me a bop. Taylor gives me a bop as well, so that's not different. They're alike in that way. But what's different about Sabrina is I actually appreciate Sabrina's tone in a way that, Taylor's tone is cute to me, but it doesn't do much. Sabrina's tone is very Ariana coded. She doesn't have the range, but it's Ariana coded, and I love Miss Grande. Of all the white women making pop music, it's Miss Grande for me. When those tickets go on sale, trust, I will be dealt there. I will be dealt there. I was gonna say, Ticketmaster, you will be dealt with, but I will be there. I will definitely be there. So I'm excited. I've not watched the music video Tears. It just dropped today as well. I didn't watch it because I'm going to do a video for that on Patreon. I want to watch it live, and I want to actually be honest. When I say I'm watching it for the first time, I want to watch it for the first time. But I did see what looked like a dark-skinned RuPaul on Twitter in clips on Twitter. So shout out to whoever that is. Because I'm excited to see the queens in the music video. Now, I think that really comprises all of my thoughts. It has been an amazing fucking show. Maybe I'll call you girls, maybe I won't. But what I will say right now is if you have not subscribed to the Patreon for future live episodes where you're going to get my most spicy takes, my most uncensored thoughts, and the long form version of the show, you want to go ahead and subscribe to that in the description box down below. I'll be recording these every Friday night or Friday evening at a time that works for all of us. And it'll be airing on Sunday for your, the general YouTube population's viewing pleasure, on Sunday afternoon, condensed, edited, and censored. So if you want to support this channel, if you like the work that I do, if you want to keep an independent journalist and sit-down comedian afloat and standing up, you know just what to do. And I don't do this for just everyone. You know just what to do with thing. So yeah, I enjoyed this. After show... This was supposed to be a show where like we went through all the topics. I feel like we did. Somebody says Friday 6 p.m. was perfect, love. I feel like this is a good time as well. Perhaps we could do an after show where I call you girls over on yeah, let's do it. I was supposed to do like a regular full out show, but let's do an after show over on Patreon. I'm gonna call you girls up. We'll get into some of the things. Maybe we'll watch the Sabrina Carpenter music video. They will flag us for copyright, but it's fine. I'll end up just taking it down and re-uploading it to Patreon for your viewing pleasure. So thank you so much. I loved all of you for staying as long as you have. If you're already on the Patreon or if you're about to subscribe in about 10 or 15 minutes, I'm going to be over there. We'll be doing the after show. I'll see you there, Misty. Mwah. But, I will never let you go without saying this. I am in a constant state of practice, and so are you. You can never fail when you're in a constant state of practice. I love you. My whole world. Hey, Kitty girl. Take us to freedom. I'll see you over there, girl.